July 6th, 12:01 p.m. A Chinese nuclear-powered submarine launches a ballistic missile carrying a dummy warhead into the Pacific Ocean. Within hours, Beijing confirms the test, a rare move for a military that has long kept its sea-based nuclear operations under wraps. Japan objects, Australia objects, New Zealand says the missile landed inside a zone where nuclear weapons are supposed to be banned altogether. So, what did China actually fire? How does it compare with India's K series missiles aboard the Arihant-class submarines? And more importantly, what is China really signaling to the rest of the Indo-Pacific, including India? And what should India's next move be as China rapidly expands its underwater nuclear deterrent? Because this was not just a test, this was a message, and the timing is hard to miss. Let's break this down. On Monday afternoon, Beijing time, Chinese Navy launched a long-range ballistic missile from a nuclear-powered submarine into the South Pacific. State media, Xinhua, confirmed the launch. It carried a dummy warhead. Beijing called it routine annual training and said it violated no international law. It was a long-range ballistic missile from a Type 094 Jin-class nuclear-powered ballistic missile submarine fired into the South Pacific. Such launches are exceptionally rare. Unlike conventional missile tests, a submarine-launched ballistic missile, or SLBM as they are called, demonstrates one thing above all: a survivable nuclear second strike capability. It tells adversaries that even if China's land-based nuclear forces are destroyed, Beijing can still retaliate from the depths of the ocean. China did not name the missile officially, but analysts are near certain it is the GL-3. It is a serious weapon. Range is estimated beyond 10,000 kilometers. That means it can strike the continental United States from waters close to China's own coast without the submarine having to sail far from home. It likely carries multiple warheads called MIRVs, so one missile can hit several targets in one launch. It was shown publicly for the first time at China's Victory Day parade last year. This is the undersea leg of China's nuclear triad, and it just got a very public demonstration. The timing matters, the location matters even more. Strip away the diplomatic language, and this test was about three things. One, showing the United States that China's submarines can reach American shores without leaving Chinese waters. Two, reminding Japan, Australia, and New Zealand that Beijing will operate wherever it wants in the Pacific, treaty zones included. Three, and this is the part that concerns Delhi, demonstrating that China's undersea nuclear force is no longer experimental. It is operational, it is expanding. For India, the message is simple. This was not fired at India directly, but India shares the same ocean space, the same undersea competition, and increasingly the same anxious neighbors who look to India as a counterweight to Beijing. The message is directed at multiple audiences: the United States, Taiwan, Japan, Australia, and frankly, every country participating in the Indo-Pacific security architecture. Here is the problem with how Beijing framed the missile test. The missile landed inside the South Pacific nuclear-free zone. That zone exists because of the 1986 Treaty of Rarotonga, a pact China itself signed protocols for, promising not to test nuclear weapons there. New Zealand's Foreign Minister Winston Peters said his government got word only hours before the missile flew. Japan was told 90 minutes ahead of launch. Its response was direct. Tokyo called it a serious concern and urged China to reconsider drills that could threaten Japanese security, especially any missile path crossing Japanese airspace. Australia's Defence Minister Richard Marles called it a long range test. He said that Canberra is deeply concerned about anything that destabilizes the Pacific. This is not new behavior from Beijing, frankly. In 2024, China fired an intercontinental ballistic missile into waters near French Polynesia, its first such test in over 4 decades. The same three countries had objected at that time too. So this is a pattern of muscle flexing, not a one-off drill. For India, the missile test is a wake-up call, despite having achieved the nuclear triad with missiles that are capable to launch nuclear warheads. India runs the Arihant-class boats. Its oldest missile, the K-15, has a range of about 700 to 750 kilometers, short reach. Then there is the K-4, already tested from INS Arihant and INS Arighat, with a range of roughly 3,000 to 3,500 kilometers. Real capability, but still just a third of what China's GL-3 can do. India has more coming. The K-5 is reportedly ready with a range of up to 6,000 kilometers. The K-6 is under development again, expected to cross 8,000 kilometers, meant for India's future S-5 class submarines, which will be bigger and carry more missiles. This is why India needs deeper coordination with Japan, Australia, more than ever now. India's job now is to make sure that when the next missile breaks the surface of the Pacific, it is not making the region's power balance look one-sided. Let's look at the larger picture. China's latest missile did not simply splash into the Pacific. It marked another step in an increasingly intense strategic competition beneath the world's oceans. The next phase of deterrence will not be decided by tanks on land or fighter jets in the sky. Frankly, it will be shaped by silent submarines carrying missiles that may never be fired, but whose very presence can prevent a bloody war. For India, the lesson is clear. The country cannot afford to think of maritime security and nuclear deterrence as separate challenges anymore. They are now part of the same strategic equation. The Indian Ocean is becoming as important as the Himalayas in safeguarding India's security. And as China pushes further into the Indo-Pacific, India's answer will not lie in matching every Chinese missile. It will lie in building a resilient, survivable, and technologically advanced sea-based deterrent that leaves no room for miscalculation. Because in the nuclear age, the strongest weapon is not the missile that is launched. It is the missile that convinces an adversary not to launch theirs. This is Times Access, where global stories meet India's perspective. Click on the bell icon to subscribe, because the next big global shift will have India at its center.